So I'm being guided to share this message with my fellow Leos. So if you have your sun in Leo, moon, your rising, if you resonate and function mainly from the Leo energy, then this message is for you. So I'm being guided. Around 2017-18, I had channeled a message, actually multiple messages. And one part of the message talks about Hagia Sophia, okay? It's the message was her divine Hagia Sophia that came through to me. And I really wasn't sure what that meant. When I kind of looked up that term, I actually got like a physical location in Istanbul, like it's the name of a church. But obviously there was more to this saying, okay? And the saying actually means her divine holy wisdom. So in my further research to really understand and dive deep into what this term meant, Hagia Sophia, I did come across what is known as the Sophia myth, and that actually fell under Gnosticism teaching, okay? And then from there, I researched where the famous psychologist Carl Jung actually took from the Gnostic teachings and created what he coined the term of the Sophia stage. And then further research took me to more of a modern day twist on this. I can't remember the psychologist's name, but he actually termed the phrase like the hero's journey. So the Sophia myth and the hero's journey are very much like intertwined or coming from the same background, okay? And how I can describe this is the Sophia, we'll call it the Sophia archetype, okay? There's 5 steps. So I'll break the 5 steps down and then refer to Sophia and then refer to the hero so you guys can see the difference. So the first step is the call to knowledge, okay? Sophia seeks deeper knowledge, or the hero's journey, the hero receives a call to adventure. How I describe this for myself is the life that I was living, okay? I was called to my journey or my knowledge when I was turning the age of 33, and this would have been in the year of 2012. I had this deep calling. Now, to look at my life that I had a great life. I mean, I had a very stable life, a loving life. I had, order. There, everything was the way that I perceived that I wanted it to be. But then I had this calling. So step 2, this is known as the descent into chaos. So if I was speaking of Sophia, her search leads to a fall in confusion and disorder. And then comparing it to the hero's journey, the hero is entering into a world, like an unknown world, and then facing challenges. So this stage represents the breakdown of like the old life structure. So the person perceived, so for myself, I perceived my life as being, orderly in the life that I wanted. But once I took that call to action, which I did, so in 2012, on my 33rd birthday, I started law school. And I was actually, I moved location, okay? So in my mind, I temporarily left my hometown and went to a different state to expand my knowledge. So in this second stage, the descent into chaos, how I can describe this is when I left on my journey to seek knowledge, what I ended up uncovering, or what became chaotic to me, is that everything that was hidden from me in my life that I perceived to be good and orderly actually wasn't. And everything that was hidden from me, or my perception, ended up becoming or brought to light. Okay, so I started to see what was really going on, and that led me into like chaos and confusion and challenges that, to be honest, at the time, I really did not want to face. I did not want to actually know. It's almost like you want to remain ignorant to it, but ultimately you can't, okay? So during stage 2, it's the breakdown of the old life structure, and then we enter into stage 3, and this is confronting the shadow. So if we're looking at Sophia's myth, Sophia becomes aware of the consequences of her actions. And then if we were looking at the more modern day twist, the hero, for the hero's journey, the hero faces their greatest trials. So this is really, you're really diving deep into the shadow side self, and you have to face all your shadows, everything that you never wanted to have happen to you, everything that you feared, you had to experience it. Okay, so then this leads us into stage 4. To stage 4, which is all about awakening and transformation. Okay, so if we're looking at the Sophia myth, this is where Sophia gains wisdom through her experience. And if we're looking at the hero's journey, this is where the hero gains insight or transformation. This is the moment where chaos begins to turn into understanding. You're beginning to see why this happened to you. So in my experience, I began to see why God put me in this situation and why I had to face my dark side, why I had to face my fears and my shadows, because God needed me to experience this and understand this so that then I could take all this knowledge that I gained, okay? And this is where we go into step 5. Then stage 5 is the return with the wisdom. So for example, in the Sophia's myth, this is where Sophia becomes the embodiment of the divine wisdom. And then in the hero's journey, this is where the hero returns to the world with the gift of knowledge. So within this 5th stage, the person, or someone like myself who went through their journey, you want to become like a teacher or a guide to help others. So living the wisdom, what does this look like? This looks like living authentically, speaking truth calmly, choosing peace over chaos, and trusting your inner compass. This is when you stop asking, what does this mean? And you just live aligned with what you know. This is also where you choose to be of service or guidance to others, okay? So this doesn't have to look like formal teaching. This can be just like mentoring, coaching, advocacy, spiritual guidance. It can just be like creative expression and just helping others understand their own life. So like your life actually becomes the medicine possibly for somebody else's life. And now you're only choosing like inner peace and you're detached basically. So what this looks like, you don't chase or look for validation anymore. You avoid chaotic and drama like relationships, and you put peace as your priority. So you will hear yourself say, I choose peace over anything else.